Hi guys, welcome to another Monks Academy episode. Today's episode, we have DeFi guru Stephen with me. We're going to talk about DeFi use strategies, specifically focusing on get paid to borrow strategies via Ohm Finance. Um, Today's episode is a very special one because it's the first episode that we will be sharing a bit of alpha about uh, NFT collection for the Markstar Fund. So we will be, as part of the Markstar Fund, we will be having a collection, giving out 50 special NFTs under three categories. So we've got rare, common, and epic, which is common as a base category, rare, and then epic being the rarest. So we got 30 NFTs and 15 NFTs on rare, and epic will have 5 NFTs. So what these NFTs will give you is extra utility. We'll be adding on utility as we go on, but the main utility is that you will have raffle tickets to get into our special collaborative NFTs that we'll be doing with a one-to-one NFTs with Pink Punks and Peel Guys. So we'll be sharing the NFTs are right now being designed and being prepared. So what will happen is the most engaging questions and the most engaging audience member today will receive um, a common NFT sometime, hopefully in a couple of weeks. So yeah, so get asking questions. I just urge you to mute the channel as we start, but as we go along, you can always interrupt Stephen and ask questions, whatever you have on the strategies that he's discussed. So yeah, without further ado, Stephen, I'll just hand it over to you now.
Right, Arash. Thank you for the intro. Before we get into the specific strategy ourselves, I also wanted to mention that today's Academy session ties in with a Twitter campaign the monks are currently running, also through our DAO funding, which is more or less entitled Get Paid to Borrow. And the strategy that we're going to do ties in yeah, seamlessly into this campaign that we're doing. And with that campaign, we're also targeting audiences outside of the Icon ecosystem. So we hope that what we are sharing today is also interesting for them and see the value that the own platform can bring in even competing against other bigger known platforms. So to kick off, I will start sharing my screen so you guys can follow. So to begin with, I will just share the tweet that I sent a few days ago as a tease of to what we are going to discuss today and how it compares strategy that we're going to do to other more known lending platforms. So the one that most people know is the Anchor protocol on Luna, which is the highest lending APY for a stablecoin. Their stablecoin is UST. The 19.47. It's been discussed a lot. Also, the sustainability of such a high yield, whether it's sustainable, yes or no. There has been some discussions, and also the how they do it. We're not going to go into detail about that, but yeah, I think there are many questions arising whether this is a realistic one to maintain this high, also compared to the big difference to the others. But even so, even comparing to Anchor, the strategy that we're going to provide today on Ohm Finance is still a juicy yield. Placing us at the second place here in the list that I made. Doesn't mean that there are others, but I just mentioned some well-known ones within ICANFI. This is also well known within our community, of course. Crypto.com, BlockFi, Nexo, and Celsius. Everyone has heard of these platforms. And the APYs that I mentioned here for those platforms, those are based on the longest lockup period. Mostly this is 3 months lockup, earned in kind, so without any token, and or in kind and without any token requirement. So Crypto.com, for example, can give higher yields, but then you have to have a certain allocation of CRO tokens. The 10% here is the highest for 3 months without any CRO allocation. And also Celsius can give you a higher APY if you decide to earn in cell tokens, for example. Nexo does the same. But if you earn in kind, these are the actual rates that they are given. And also the benefit of our strategy is there is no lockup period for the Ohm finance strategy. So to kick it off, I will show you my position here on Ohm finance. And it's a stablecoin strategy. Later, I will discuss also some of the alternatives, but those are more risky. The stablecoin strategy is really very low risk. So what I start off with is USDS as collateral. So in this case, what you can see here, I have a little short of 20K USDS stablecoin as collateral, and this currently without the Ohm rewards is giving me 3.9% interest rate on the supply side. If you add the Ohm tokens, then you get a 6% APY. Now this is still way off from the 13 to 14% that I promised on the tweet. So let's go into detail how we get to that 13 to 14%. So what you can easily take note of when you use the switch here, the rates with or without Ohm, and you have to take note on the borrow side, you also see the colors change. If you add the Ohm rewards, you can see here many become green, which means positive, which means getting paid to borrow. This means that the Ohm rewards you get by taking a borrow position are higher than the interest that you have to pay. So literally getting paid to borrow. And this is an essential part of the strategy that we are highlighting today. Because what you can do by using your position here as collateral, you're able to take out a loan. And I maxed what I was able to do on the BNUSD side, which brought my risk factor at 77%, which is a high percentage. They say keep it below 50% to reduce volatile markets. But the low risk thing about this is we are not using volatile assets. We're using stable coins. So we will have a short discussion regarding the risks later on. But because the nature of stablecoins, the risks here are very, very low. What I immediately do is I use the entire amount that I borrow and I supply it on the other side. Now, normally, this would significantly reduce my risk by doing this. But in this case, it doesn't, because at the moment, BNUSD cannot yet be used as collateral on Ohm to borrow against. You can supply it, you can earn interest on it, but it cannot be used as collateral to take on a new loan. So this is why in this example I used USDS. Now, this means that I'm earning interest in dollars on my initial deposit. I'm earning Ohm rewards here on the supply side of the USDS, but I'm also earning here BNUSD on the supply side. I'm not earning ohm on the supply side because currently ohm allocation is not diverted to the supply side of BNUSD. Maybe this can happen in the future, but currently this is not in place. But there is a significant, and this is where the get paid to borrow part comes into play. There is a significant allocation here because there is low demand on the borrow side at the moment for BNUSD. Uh, and this means that there are a lot of rewards in ohm to be had just by using this strategy. Now, if you take everything together, I have $5 daily on the supply interest side. I have a negative 3.97 on the borrow, and I have my entire 92.15 ohm daily in ohm rewards. Now, if we do a quick calculation and we go here, I already mentioned it here. So the ohm rewards 92.15 gets us in USDS 6.46. So let's quickly add this in the calculation. Let's round it down, 47 plus 5.01 minus 3.97 gives us a daily positive result of 7.51 USDS in this case. You can also use BNUSD. I sometimes swap to BNUSD just to keep this position more or less balanced because you take on debt more than you grow your interest because this is higher than this one. So sometimes I use part of the own rewards and I convert it to BNUSD to just, instead of USDS, just to keep this position balanced and so that I can if there something changes and the strategy is no longer profitable, I can quickly pay off the debt with what I have here. So everything, if we go to a yearly basis, so I multiply by 365 days, I get a yearly interest of this much based on my initial deposit of USDS, and my interest rate is 13.82%. So it's not really a difficult strategy. It's an easy one. It's a low risk strategy. But of course, we are in a small group today. If there would be one of you is very capital, has a lot of funds, a lot of capital, and going to deposit it into this way of strategy, then of course we will have to share the ohm allocations here amongst ourselves, and it will. If a large amount flows into it, it will decrease, of course, that APY percentage. But on the other hand, that might again open other opportunities. So, what are the alternatives? So there is, of course, also an alternative to not sell the surplus of ohm rewards. So you just sell the ohm that you need to cover your debt here in BNUSD. And you could say, okay, I'm going to keep my ohm rewards and I stake them. I get more ohm rewards in return. And if I, for example, through vote delegation, you can get benefits like if you vote for GangsterBet, you can get additional crown tokens. So that might be even more profitable if you take into account the additional ohm and the additional tokens that you receive via the vote delegation benefits. So those are two different strategies that you can apply here. And another alternative, but this is then a more risky one, if you do not have any USDS or you don't want to swap your ICX to USDS, or you don't want to mint your fiat into USDS via Stably, for example, then you can still use your ICX as collateral, but then it becomes, or any other of the collateral options. I think ohm is also an option, and I don't think BNUSD is an option yet. But then, of course, you have the volatility. And in a serious downturn, you have to manage your position more accurately. Now, the risks of the easy strategy that we the stablecoin strategy that we just discussed is quite low for this stablecoin strategy. The only real risk I personally see is the BNUSD peg fluctuating. But even then, the risk is still quite limited because the fluctuation is not that large unless there is a complete breakdown of the peg. And then we also know that the balance team keeps tweaking for stability and also looking at the rebalancing optimization to keep the BNUSD stable. And we also see use cases, potential of new use cases stabilizing BNUSD. So, and for the higher risk, when you use ICX or the other volatile assets as collateral to borrow against, I can only say check in from time to time to check up on the borrow versus supply ratio and your risk ratio, and make sure that the home rewards you get outweigh the debt you're taking on. So I think this is everything I wanted to highlight about these specific strategies. But I also want to highlight as a takeaway from today's academy session is that even though at first sight the APYs might not look very attractive at the moment, as you can see, there are always opportunities waiting if you know how to use the platform. And of course, if many start doing this strategy, the APIs will decrease, but other opportunities will then present themselves. So take note and keep following our academy, and we will try to inform you wherever we can. So I would ask the audience whether they have any questions.
Yeah, guys, yeah, ask away if you guys have any questions. Doesn't necessarily have to be on what we discussed today. If there's any hybrid strategies that you want to discuss with Balance or with Optimus, anything that obviously is a passive strategy, but anything that you have questions on the other platforms, yeah, good to go ahead.
Or yeah, or the campaign, the marketing campaign that we're doing, or the NFT giveaways that we're doing that Arash started the academy session with. Shoot.
I have a question.
Hey, Justin, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Good, I'm good.
So, do you find that your risk with this stablecoin does that fluctuate very much? And if it does, what percentage typically?
Well, it depends on what you mean with fluctuate. Do you mean fluctuating APY or do you mean fluctuating risk percentage? Because the risk percentage doesn't fluctuate a lot. This is quite stable. I haven't seen it remains quite the 77%. It has remained as the same as from when I started. Just simply because of what I said. There is not real fluctuation between two stable coins, except from BNUSD moving from its peg. But you can hardly see any impact on the risk ratio there. So, and the only part is opportunity risk, for example, that the APY might drop if people jump into this strategy by us highlighting this today, that it might drop from the 13.8, I think it was percent that we have today, to yeah, something lower than the ones that I highlighted, for example, from Icon5 below 11%. So, but the risk itself, no, I don't see any issues there unless you use another type of collateral like ICX, and the risk, of course, are a lot higher.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at. Like, yeah, I used ICX, and I find myself, checking it all the time because you don't want to get liquidated. But with the, I never thought about using a stable coin to do that. So yeah, that is brilliant, I must say. Yeah, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries. You're welcome.
Yeah, I think F13, you've got a question or
I see something, a question in the questions channel, maybe.
let's check.
Someone is my audio isn't working, but I have a few questions. Is it possible to get liquidated if just supplying and borrowing stable coins? So I think it's more or less the same question that Justin asked regarding the risk ratio. So liquidated, I don't see it really happening unless the BNUSD has a complete breakdown of his peg. But otherwise, yeah, I don't see a realistic way of getting liquidated by using this strategy.
Yeah.
And also assume you can also further increase your APY if you stake the ohm or delegate your votes to a peer that gives rewards. Yeah, so that's also something that I was highlighted. Those are the two strategies that you don't really need to sell your ohm. You can also go for the second alternative, and this is indeed staking your own and delegating it, which means that and this might be a better strategy when we are in an uptrend and own price is instead of declining is increasing over time. Then this might be a better strategy to do in a bull market than just the stablecoin strategy.
Yeah, you can also you
Let's
can
see,
also
more questions are entering in the questions channel, so I will read them. Will you cover strategies from lending on LPs at some stage too? From lending on LPs? For lending on LPs.
on the
I don't understand the question. Lending on LPs. Um,
the LP the LP strategies, basically depositing the LP tokens, I guess.
Yeah, we
Do-
have done that in the past,
yeah,
those strategies, but if there is a demand for some specific, we are always open to adjust, to dedicate an episode to something specific. So we're always open to any ideas. If you say we have done in the past, and there are recordings of those videos, so maybe it might. That will answer your question immediately if you just look at the recordings that we have done in the past. But we can revisit any topic if anything has changed.
yeah. I also, just to add on, Stephen, also like the OM tokens you get from your strategy, right? You can also the alternative, instead of staking it, you can also supply the OM tokens into the supply market as well. So you're not locking it for 3 days,
Yeah,
and sometimes the APY is higher than the staking APY.
yeah, yeah, it's true. Yeah, then you don't have the additional staking benefits, but you have the lending the lending interest and also the I think it's also incentivized on top. So
Yep.
yeah, indeed, it's an additional way of not selling your home and using your home to increase your APY. Yeah.
Yeah. And also you have the flexibility to pay off your loan, I mean, in case
Yeah.
something, I mean, you need the funds, whatever.
Yeah. And then another question, just another question. What risk ratio would you recommend if supplying ICX and borrowing stablecoins? I assume the risk is much higher if the market starts dropping. Yeah, yeah, that's indeed what we have been saying. And it's quite high. It's quite difficult, of course, to tell you what risk ratio you should keep. 50% is the recommended on the own platform, but yeah, 50% might not give you enough leverage. So it all depends on one, what is your risk appetite, and two, how often do you check up on your strategy. If you check up daily, you can have a higher risk percentage, but even then, you can have certain events like the liquidation event that we had on Balanced, in which overnight something happens. So I would never put my hand into the fire, and to answer such a question, because it all depends on yeah, on certain black swan events could get you liquidated, when you're doing it with a volatile asset.
Yeah, and yeah, from kind of a recommendation as well. Like, yeah, if you're borrowing, say, ICX, for example, yeah, don't go over 50%, risk factor, uh, because at least you have a buffer, because sometimes ICX can go 10% in one day swing, 5-10%. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Another comment from James. Any plans for covering upcoming boosted ohm? I believe we had Daiki on a while ago on one of the episodes. He was also discussing balanced ohm. Sorry, boosted ohm.
Usidam, yeah.
Yeah, so we have already discussed it in one of the previous episodes. So there is something that you can listen to already. But when we are closer to launch, then we will of course cover it again. Yeah, we will cover all the trending topics. I was just discussing with a rush right before this episode potential new topics. So I think it might be, we can already share that those are no secrets. We don't know the right order yet. But from what I've seen right before this is that Optimus, for example, has launched the Ohm strategies on testnet just now, just a few minutes, an hour ago, something like that. So I will be looking at the testnet after this episode, and we can cover this in one of the episodes. Then also Convexus, which is the same team that's building Karma DAO. We had a Karma DAO episode, but we will also be having one with the same team about Convexus. And then I was also interested in doing an episode regarding stablecoins, because we see it a lot trending in the Luna ecosystem with UST, then backing it with a large amount BTC. Also, just news now on the Polkadot front, the Akala team, which is more or less a copy of what we have here with Unbalanced, is they have created a fund of $250 million worth by joining forces with 8 parachain teams and various well-known crypto VCs like Almeida, Kraken, Pantera, just to promote initiatives of their stablecoin AUSD. So this is something that is very beneficial for ecosystems, and I think we should dedicate an episode to that to discuss plans to how to promote use cases for example, BNUSD, USDS within our ecosystem, and yeah, it would be a good discussion point, I think, to have with Scott and with Daiki and other various people within our ecosystem.
I think it's a question from Mark Duffy 12. Does the APY shown on Ohm include the APY you get from staking? Nope. Uh, it's not shown. It's shown separately.
Yep.
The current staking APY, let me just check it out, is,
Yeah, it's in the other tab. Yeah.
yep, it's right now at 25%, almost 25%. Yep. Uh,
Yeah. Rinus
Or
is talking about other strategies that he's applying, and those, of course, are also possible. It was not the topic of today, but indeed there are various interesting strategies, and you're also always welcome to share. If people have interesting strategies and you are willing to come on to a live event and maybe even share the screen and discuss the strategy that you do, we're always open to people doing that. Or share your strategies with us, and we explore them, and maybe we can share them with the community. So, always open to the feedback from our audience.
oh, he's asking the staking rewards. Oh yeah, no, doesn't include the staking rewards. Nope. Yeah, so he's Marklev is asking whether the SICX staking rewards are included in the APY strategy. No, they're not.
No, no, also not. No, no, that's just a benefit that you keep within the Icon ecosystem. It's also something that you lose, for example, if you use Anchor protocol, if you deposit your Luna in there to borrow UST, you lose your staking rewards because those staking rewards are used to get that high APY to the UST lenders. And this is something that we do not see in our ecosystem. The people depositing their ICX through the use of SICX, they are able to take advantage of their ICX as collateral and continue getting the staking rewards. So for me, that's a very big one. Otherwise, there is an opportunity cost that you simply do not have by the products that Balanced and Ohm, for example, and Optimus have for Iconists.
Yeah, that's true. Trying to think if any other questions.
No.
Ringe was
Maybe
surprised.
maybe just a shout out to Budweiser, whether he can keep an eye on picking some of the great questions for what we discussed earlier regarding the
Yeah,
NFT.
yeah, we'll
So he can
discuss it
help
right
us.
after.
Yeah, because I can't keep track of of all
Yeah,
the good questions. Um, okay.
plus a supply to ohm and borrow from there too. Yeah. Do you think the ohm price has close to bottomed? Wow. If the price of ohm starts
I
climbing.
think yeah, this is very difficult for us to answer, of course, and you never can predict something like that. But it's not really just OMA. You see it on balance, you see it on the Fin token. There is a sell pressure there, and sometimes, and you can see it in a downturn, people prefer to take profits on daily basis on everything they mint, and they just convert it to be an USD. But at a certain point, there will be a turning point, and then you will start seeing buying pressure. And for me, I think this is when ICX will start increasing first. Then I think the IRCs will see some buying pressure. So. Like with everything, it's if you're interested in investing in those governance tokens, I think yeah, keep an eye out, especially if you're buying with ICX. Then when ICX starts increasing in value a lot, might be some good sales on the IRC sites if they haven't increased yet. So you're getting more worth of your for your ICX if you can play the ratio right. But of course, when this happens, is something that we cannot discuss, and it also depends on. At a certain point, an additional utility can occur. For example, like we saw for Ohm, we saw a nice increase of demand when GangsterBet started awarding the voters with their crown token, and people took notice that the voting power of Ohm was higher than just voting with ICX directly. So these type of things can quickly turn the tide for the price of a token.
Yeah, just to
That's
add,
really all
just
that we can say.
Yeah, just to add to that, yeah, other coins are dependent on, for example, how Bitcoin goes. But yeah, when it comes to IRC tokens on our chain and the governance tokens, for example, in this specific example is Ohm. So when the ICX price goes up, a good rule of thumb is the governance tokens also should go up because the logic is that when the ICX price goes up, all the TVL, a lot of the assets supplied on those platforms, the TVL goes up, and even the fees collected, all that when the value of ICS goes up, the revenue increases for the protocol, and naturally, natural effect would be that the governance token price should increase. So that's the understanding. So it all depends on the ICX price movement. If there's a big, if ICX keeps increasing from here, then there's a good chance that Ohm price might have bottomed out. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. I've also see a question. It's already been answered by one of our of our other guests here, audience members. But from just saying whether he needs to claim the ICX staking rewards from his SICX on home. So no, you don't have to. And your SICX, you will not see it change. The amount will remain the same. But there is an easy way you can see your ICX value increase on Ohm. If you go into your icon ICX, there is a switch on the supply next to supply, and you open it. Maybe I'll just quickly share my screen again so you can follow a moment because I'm now in the chat. So I'm sharing my screen. I'll show you where it is. Okay, so if you go here, I currently don't have a ICX supplied here because I have my ICX elsewhere at the moment on Optimus. And I only have USDS on this account here. But if you open it, you can here see on the supply ICX as ICX. So you can see the difference and you will see your ICX amount increase due to the, first of all, of course, due to your staking rewards, but also your daily interest, of course. But both will be reflected then together in your balance here.
There's another question.
Yeah, you don't have to do anything to claim your staking rewards.
Paul Adam 15 says, any input on which LP would be good to use if using balanced? Good question.
Wait. What was the question?
Any input on which LP would be good to use if using balanced?
I haven't checked. I'm currently not LPing myself. I will be revisiting that topic once Karma DAO launches, because I'm interested in the bonds, and then I will have to have some LP positions. But at the moment, let me check.
Oh, Mark Duffy has asked a good question as well. Now that you mentioned Optimus, will it be possible to invest on Ohm through Optimus soon? It's on testnet as of today, right, Stephen?
Yeah. That's what we also discussed as a potential episode for the Monks Academy to cover. Is indeed right after I close this call, I'm going to play around on the Optimus testnet, and because they launched the Ohm strategies, not going to. I'm not sure how fast I will be able to play with them because first I have to remove the the, the testnet funds from the current contract and move it into the new one, because I believe they also changed the current Python contract to already a Java contract. So I'm not sure whether this will be done immediately or whether there is a withdrawal time on that. But yeah, we will soon know how it works on testnet, and maybe we can even launch an episode based on the testnet before it even goes live. For me, that preferably I want to get you guys the alpha before it drops on mainnet. So if you're able to do that, we might prioritize that one for next week.
Yeah. Uh, yeah. Also, yeah. Keep the questions coming. I just wanna mention also, like, yeah. I mean, you guys would have heard the initiatives we're doing from the monks DAO fund. Our long-term focus is building out and growing the monks. As you know, if you're active, and if you want to see active community members, and then we'll hopefully being active on the Ohm Discord, on Twitter, and sharing content on Ohm. You know, stands a good chance of you joining the monks. We have currently almost, I think, 14 monks, out of which six of us are multisigs, and we're contributing in from marketing to community engagement activities and education activities such as this. So the monks proposal and the monks DAO fund initiatives that we got funded for is for 3 months, and once the 3 months are up, if the community approves, we will be going in for another 3 months of funding, and we won't have the same six multi-sigs. We'll be changing it up. So hopefully that'll give an opportunity for the other monks to join in, and our final goal is we want people who are contributing, active, and bringing value to the Ohm ecosystem to benefit uh, from it. So yeah, be active on the Home Discord and share content, and yeah, join the monks.
Yeah, and we can use all type of skill sets. So if you are a good writer for content on various platforms, we're interested. If you are a good designer, we can always use design for the campaigns, for even creating our NFT collection, but also for creating marketing material. So very or people that are skilled in DeFi to help us prepare for episodes, or people that have good knowledge from other ecosystems, because we're also going to do a BTP focused session, especially when, for example, Binance Smart Chain launches, what cross-chain strategies could be applied, or via the platform that we discussed, Akala on Polkadot. Those type of strategies we will be interested to cover as well. So all type of knowledge that you can have, and you have some time to dedicate to contribute on a steady basis, then please reach out, and maybe you can become a monk as well.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks for that, Mark Duffy. Yeah, hopefully you can also be a part of the monks. We're always looking to grow it out, and also uh, we've right now we've also doing some advertising campaigns on Twitter. We've partnered with Digital Dave, so we've reached out to our target audience is crypto users from other ecosystems, and people who are using money market protocols, like for example Compound, and Aave, and things like that. So the marketing effort it won't be, probably you may not have seen it, but it's been targeted to those market segments. So yeah. we will
Also see a
share.
comment here from.
Yep.
Oh, sorry. No, go ahead.
Yeah, we will share a report hopefully in a couple of weeks on the progress of the marketing campaign.
No. Also see a
Maybe
comment here of Mer. Sorry,
go
I thought
go
you were
good, good.
finished. I'll
No, go
wait.
good, good. No, go good. I'm done. I'm done. Sorry.
Okay. I see a comment here of Mary Shane. Maybe you should organize a contest for making NFT. Well, it's also something that I had in mind. The platform that we have created, or you will not see it yet. It's still being built. Is we will have our own, and we will try to get it verified as soon as possible. Verified monks account on Craft, and we will have initially at least two collections. One collection is the one designed by one of the monks, which will have the three tiers of NFTs, and they will serve as this is something that Arash has already mentioned in the beginning. They will serve as raffle tickets for other utility. The utilities of this first collection, one of the utilities, because we aim to give more utilities and we're not going to give away everything yet today. But one of the utilities is serve as a raffle tickets for the second collection, and the second collection is a collection of collaboration with known artists. We have, like Roger already said, we have already secured two partnerships, and we have a design from the Peel guys collection and a design for the ping pongs, and we are in talks with other artists as well. So the aim is that they do a monk team design within their own known style, and it will be minted in not in the collection of the artists, but in our own monks collection. And I also had the idea of maybe organizing a contest of making one of the NFTs, and also add it to the. But then it's a community member instead of a known artist. It's a community member NFT within this collection, and I think it's good because I think we have a lot of good artists within the community, and I have seen some nice designs from the contests of Wonderland, for example, and I think they are very worthy of being minted into an NFT. So I'm very open to do that as well. Yes.
And also potentially another utility that we're also thinking of is for the first collection, which one of you guys will be walking away with in the common category is you may receive, which is still in talks, but one of the utilities we're looking at is giving some kind of fees from uh, what are the proceeds that we get from selling uh, NFTs from our second collection. So yeah, so some interesting and interesting use cases for the holders of the NFTs. Yeah. Is there any other questions, Stephen, on the? Oh yeah, James. Oh yeah, perfect.
No, just people interacting with each other, so that's a good to see. I don't see any additional questions yet that we haven't answered. Um, Unless maybe Budweiser has seen anything that we missed.
No.
Um,
Yeah, so we'll be hopefully announcing the winner either today or tomorrow. And also regarding we'll be in touch with you in due course, hopefully in about a week's time to send out to get your ICX address to send out the NFT.
oh, yeah. We won't be able to immediately send it yet. You will have to have some patience because we wanted to already do a giveaway today, and I think we have a nice audience today, and I think one of you will definitely deserve one. But it's still being designed, so it's not yet ready to go. But we will not forget, and you will receive it.
And also, Yeah, we'll be giving out some home tokens as well to those that participated and those who participated on the call. So yeah, courtesy of Tip Icon. And yeah, uh, s- be on the channel shortly. We'll be sending out. Don't worry, we don't have your wallet addresses. It's a wallet address generated by Tip Icon. And for those of you who don't know how to use Tip Icon, we'll be happy to help you out.
Yeah, I see. I think indeed many people might have some questions, and then one of the things that you have to that we want to highlight already is you might need to you will have to send a small amount of ICX, even if it's one ICX. Just to retrieve your tip, just because we do not have access to the wallet, of course, we will be the tip will be home, but you will need a very small amount of ICX to get it out of your generated wallet. Now you can choose to do that immediately, and because of course Ohm has utility, and you want to stake it or maybe use it as collateral. But yeah, keep in mind you might have to you will have to send a small amount of ICX. If it's just for one transaction for this one tip, you don't even need to send an entire ICX. Just have a look at what the transaction costs are at the moment, and see that you have enough to cover it.
All right,
I
guys,
have a
thank you
question.
very much for your time. Let me just quickly take a picture of those who participated. So, uh, yep.
And snapshots is taken.
Oh,
So one of you will be one of the lucky ones. High percentage of winning. Because there are 3 monks in here who are not eligible.
yeah. Cool. All right. Thank you guys for your time. And hope to see you guys all engaging and on the Om Discord. We'll be looking out for monks in you. All right. Take care, guys. Bye.
Take care. Bye bye. Thank you for joining.